team. Hope your coffee is going strong.
And hey to everyone joining us live over YouTube from everywhere. I'm Josh Railwani.
And I'm Varsha Anand.
We're at Brisbane International, Mumbai. And we've got a very special one-hour plan for you today called The Industry Breakdown, where we decode the industry shaping India's growth and future.
We're shining the spotlight on an industry that keeps 1.4 billion of us entertained, inspired, and occasionally addicted. India's media and entertainment sector.
Oh yes, with 28 states and over 100 languages and dialects, India is a space of cultural diversity and experience that give us birth to a communal hub of storytelling. From cinemas that are finally buzzing again post-pandemic to OTT platforms battling for our precious screen time. Not to mention regional content that's just exploding in popularity, this industry isn't just about what we watch, it's about how India's culture, creativity and tech are evolving together.
According to the latest FICCI report, an annual in-depth analysis of Indian media and entertainment industry, the sector is valued at nearly 250 billion rupees as of 2024, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. OTT subscriptions alone, over 100 million households. And get this, digital ad revenue has officially overtaken television.
But like every blockbuster story, there's some conflict. Piracy continues to be a struggle and debates around digital content regulation are heating up. So, the big question is, can this industry balance creativity, commerce and compliance all at once?
That's what we're unpacking in the next hour. From the evolution of cinema to the streaming wars, from the rise of regional storytelling to India's global content dreams, we've got producers, digital entrepreneurs and tech specialists joining us to explore how innovation and education are reshaping the future of entertainment.
But first, let's rewind a little to see how it all started. How the country found its cinematic heartbeat, Mumbai, the creative capital and the nerve center of India's media and film universe.
India is a country that greets you with color, sound and movement, as streets and marketplaces buzz with life and energy. Alive with people, traditions and daily rhythm, each interaction is a small story of human connection. Heritage here is more than history. It lives in the hands of artisans weaving, painting and building with skills refined over centuries. It rises in monuments and temples that have witnessed civilizations come and go, echoing faith and devotion across time. In parallel, another India moves forward, trains rushing across bridges, skylines climbing higher, innovation shaping tomorrow. India is both ancient and modern, calm and chaotic, a country where past and future exist side by side, a melting pot of culture and diversity. And nowhere is that rhythm stronger than in Mumbai, the city of dreams, the city that never sleeps, the city that has a place for everyone. With millions flowing through the streets and stations, carrying the city forward every day, markets bustle and Mumbaikars keep the city alive with colors, sound and scents. The culture of India celebrates music, art and communal festivities, making everyday life an expression of joy and togetherness. Above the streets, glass towers of workplaces signal the city's ambition and drive towards the future. And at Mumbai's heart lies cinema, vibrant posters capturing the city's imagination. Indian cinema, popularly known as Bollywood, has shaped pop culture and influenced people's understanding of cinema. In 1935, the introduction of playback singing by Indian music director Mukul Bose revolutionized, making them so vital that films are rarely created without them. Along with music, advancements in camera technology changed the process of over time. automated dialogue replacement, and digital editing gave directors more control over sound, enabling them to add effects and balance technology to create and carefully shape stories and sci-fi epics. While digital artists work behind the scenes, nucleus of filmmaking are the studios. Mumbai's film city hums with energy, where ideas take shape, scenes unfold, and an industry worth billions of dollars continues to define Indian cinema. Across sets, teams coordinate complex sequences with over 2,000 films produced in more than 20 languages, along with actors, directors, and other integral members like lightmen, boys, and caterers, each play a significant role in mounting a film. Though Bollywood lives in Mumbai, film crews come from several cities: Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and others, truly bringing India together, contributing to a 7% rise in the film and media employment in 2024. These studios made over 110 billion rupees for the economy in the same year, proving how cinema contributes immensely to the country's economy. Streaming platforms entering India's market, audiences now connect with films in new ways. Viewing habits have shifted towards digital media, with OTT services boasting over 100 million paid subscribers. Cinema's magic now unfolds on numerous screens across India, from laptops and tablets to smartphones, making it more accessible than ever. With rapid advancement in the landscape of Indian cinema, the future of filmmaking rests on the shoulders of robust film education. Institutes like Woods International offer courses in every aspect of filmmaking, from direction and production to sound and cinematography, giving students a true 360-degree experience in the art and craft of cinema. The students of Whistling Woods International Mumbai work with Sony and Red cameras, professional writing, and real sets, learning to frame, focus, and bring their stories alive. Across the campus, students move between filming scenes and working in the Foxconn and Sony media labs, editing and refining every shot. Guided by experienced faculty and industry experts, supported by top tech partners like Sony, Apple, Google, and Red, students get hands-on experience and exposure to the industry's ins and outs. This gives them a head start and confidence to meet professional standards right after graduation. Immersive learning thus bridges the gap between the classroom and the set, preparing students to step confidently into the real world of filmmaking, where storytelling just doesn't happen on screen. It lives and breathes in the lives of the people all around the city.
Every time technology takes a leap, this industry somehow finds a way to dance right along with it. From CGI and advanced post-production to the way we now stream films straight to our phones.
That's true. The magic of Indian entertainment has always been about its adaptability. It's this beautiful mix of creativity, hustle, and innovation, all coming together to tell stories that stay with you.
But in today's world, it's not enough to just have a good story. You need to know how to tell it technically, from the cameras to the code. That sort of technological literacy is now becoming crucial.
And on that note, let's look at how institutions are creating spaces where students can experiment, innovate, and truly understand the future of storytelling.
In today's media and entertainment industry, especially in the filmed entertainment industry, it is not possible to separate technology from the art, craft, and the business. So it's extremely important that students learn it as one of three key aspects of the industry, where they focus on art, craft, technology, and business. And one of the ways that students really are able to keep at the cutting edge is to learn from the best about hardware and workflows and technologies which in many cases have not been introduced to the market but do exist in the research and development and in the pipeline of global media and entertainment tech giants. The goal being to introduce students to as well as industry, but primarily students, to technology that hasn't hit the market yet. That is just about to hit the industry, and students get a preview, if you may, early access, hands-on early access to some of the latest gear that exists. The other key part of any student's tech journey is to help them be a part of what's coming. One of the best ways, or rather the only way to do that, is actually get them into a research and development or a tech development zone. And that is what we do at Whistling Woods, and we do that through the Emerging Media Lab. So let's have a look as to what the lab is doing currently. At any point of time, the Emerging Media Lab is working on 3 or 4 different workflows which are what you would call emerging, and making sure that the students are really at the cutting edge. So historically, the lab's about 7-8 years old now. We started with VR, we started with cinematic VR, we started with essentially creating content that would go on one of the headsets that you see around. We wrote the curriculum for cinematic VR, both fiction and non-fiction, and then have been teaching it to students. Students have been creating a lot of VR content. The lab has been creating a lot of VR content. And then naturally from VR, we moved on to the next next step, which would be to look at more areas within the immersive industry.
Virtual production is like one of the main research areas we have right now. We are currently developing workflows and pipelines to shoot in front of green screen, in which you get real-time outputs, and also we shoot in front of LED walls so that you don't have to do any post-production once your shoot is done. So that is the main benefit of virtual production. You get to visualize all the content in front of you, and basically the whole crew can visualize what they are shooting in front of, and they don't have to imagine what is there in the background or what is exactly that will happen later on in the post. So that is the barrier that we are trying to break, so that everyone comes on the same page when they are shooting, and that's the main goal, and that in turn creates a better looking shot, which creates a better looking film. So that is one of the main verticals that we follow. Other than that, we have motion capture, we have other immersive capturing techniques, and also AI. AI has been a major part of the media and entertainment industry now, and we are using AI to automate our pipelines and to create assets.
As you can see, we've got our own Greenbox studio, in which we've deployed the Qualisys mocap system, which also doubles up as our camera tracking solution, and we're able to then regularly take shots here. We're able to introduce the entire virtual production pipeline into the curriculum of filmmaking students. Now these kind of, how you would say, tech of the future or workflows of the future, which are out there in the industry today, is something that we've been working on since 2020. And we have had students who have graduated who are way ahead of the industry when it comes to their knowledge of areas like virtual production. And we continue to do that, and that's something that we will never stop.
Slowly, I would say in India, people are more adapting to these emerging technologies, to these more real-time workflows, in which they are able to change stuff while they are shooting, so that they can cut down the post time. It's not like something that you are not paying the post department for this. It is more like you are preparing for your film in pre-production. Your vision is getting ready when you are shooting the film. Right now, the industry is evolving in a manner where it's more like a factory right now. Everything is streamlined. Everyone knows what they are doing. Right now, we are in a state where we need young filmmakers who are also technically sound. And if they are right now graduating from Whistling Woods and they are learning more of these pipelines, it will definitely come in handy, because there are many production houses who are not just production houses, agencies and companies who are looking for trained professionals who are specializing in such content.
Now, it's really giving students access to almost transmedia technologies, which are both analog and digital and, electric and electronic, and helping them wrap their heads around complex emerging media tech workflows, which is what makes Whistling Woods students' life that much extra special and puts them that much ahead of the industry.
The entire industry is reinventing itself. From the studio floor to distribution platforms, the tools we're using are changing, and so are the way we're telling our stories.
Oh yes, sometimes I miss the good old days, rushing home after school just to catch the 8 p.m. TV show before dinner. No pause, no rewind, just pure commitment.
Right? One missed episode and you were completely lost. Now we're binging entire seasons over one weekend, and then we're complaining that there's nothing left to watch.
Exactly. Storytelling has evolved so much. Back then, it was about waiting for the next episode. Now, it's about choosing what you want, when you want, and how you want it.
And that's what makes this era so exciting. The move from television to OTT hasn't just changed viewing habits, it's changed the entire storytelling process. The pacing, the formats, even the kind of characters you fall in love with.
Absolutely. It's not just entertainment anymore, it's personalization. And the people driving this change, up-and-coming creators who are learning to merge art, storytelling, and technology from the ground up.
Which brings us to our next segment, The Inner Circle, hosted by Mr. Rahul Puri, Managing Director of Mukta Arts and Director of Academics at Whistling Woods International.
Joining him are Mr. Arjun Mogre, Creative Head at Mugafi, and Mr. Rohit Prakash, co-founder and Creative Head at Button Creative. Both incredible storytellers shaping how content connects with audiences today.
Together, they'll be diving into how technology is influencing creativity, education, and business models across India's entertainment landscape.
Good morning and welcome to the Inner Circle. Today I have two Whistling Woods alumni as well as industry professionals to talk about the industry, the challenges, the opportunities, its technology, and some possible growth areas going forward. So I'd like to welcome Rohit Prakash and Arjun Mogre. If I talk generally about the film industry in India, over the last certainly 18 months post the pandemic, it's been a bit of a struggle at theatres. Obviously, you've seen a decline of admits, people not going to the cinema as much as possible. And for what was considered at one point a sort of film crazy country, for that almost reality check, it has shifted the foundations, I think, of what the entertainment industry once considered itself. So in your sort of experience, what do you think are the ways that we overcome some of those challenges? I'll start with Arjun. What do you see are the obstacles, and what do you see as some of the ways that we can move ahead?
I think what the biggest challenge is that the streamer announces the film right after the theatrical release. So there's a very small gap that lets people get lazy. 8 weeks. Yeah, 8 weeks, 4 weeks sometimes with regional cinema also. So that considerably lets your motivation go down to go to screens. A great solution was Sitare Zameen Par, wherein he didn't announce the streamer at all, and then went all the way to YouTube after a considerable gap. That made people want to go to the theaters, whether out of FOMO, whether out of wanting to watch it, whether not knowing where it will land up, which is what traditionally cinema did, right? So I think that was a good solution to it. The second thing is, I think we got used to watching too much during the pandemic.
Right.
So the problem of plenty also didn't want us to go all the way to the theaters. There were very big releases which came onto streaming directly. But I think if you are able to create that gap somewhere and tell better stories.
But then again, I mean, one of the things I think we need to keep in mind, and maybe this is more of a question to you, Rohit, because obviously you work in the media background, the advertising background. Indians are now the fourth largest or number of hours of consumption, isn't it inevitable, I suppose, that more and more content is going to shift to these smaller screens?
I would like to assume when films were coming on TV or sort of TV content was sort of on the rise, you'd still think, who's going to walk into the cinemas. I'm still a little bit of an optimist on the idea that the joy of buying a ticket and walking to the cinema still exists, right? F1 being a great example. I think that sweet blend between sport and film and Brad Pitt charm and all of that sort of packaging, the Top Gun feeling to it, I think still is a draw to go in and buy a ticket. And I mean, case being that the F1 ticket prices were higher, right? Because you would want to watch it in a 4DX and stuff. Which brings me back to my entire bit on I think there is still that sort of silver lining for cinemas. The question really, and frankly, you know this better than I do, is that whole sort of entry barrier today, right? Is it too expensive for an experience? Would I rather wait it out, watch it on my phone? There's only so much you can delight a consumer via what you'd like to think is digital content, right? What I love about what Amir Khan said when they went to YouTube, I want every person in India to respectfully commit his or her time and buy a ticket, right? Not like I bought a subscription 1 year ago and now because I have that subscription, it drops on an OTT and I may chance upon it while having my dal and chawal, right? What he liked was the idea that you would pay up 50 rupees upfront through a paywall, and now
essentially he said you have to make a commitment.
I love that. If I wake up in the morning, wear my good clothes and go to the railway station, I'm committing to a day's full of work, right? So I feel like that entire committing your time via the way you sort of engage with content is important, and I think on digital you don't really get that chance.
I mean, speaking of inevitability to both of you, isn't it eventually inevitable that all these streamers will eventually become television? Isn't that inevitable?
I'll take that and you can. So I think the difference between television and streaming is that television is slotted and streaming is an unlimited shelf. So if we are able to identify that because this is something I learned, that you need it to be Tuesday 8 p.m, Tuesday 8:30, that appointment viewing, and also limited slots therefore.
Right.
Didn't allow you to do this, to cater to everybody. Then you needed to create a Lumiere channel, or you needed to create that for a specific audience. Here you have a shelf, right? So that shelf can be you can have various shelves in the same compartment. So then you can pick and choose stuff for. So maybe you create less of the big tickets, which will require to spend more. Will probably be a little more niche in terms of storytelling. But I think there's space for everyone.
Big question I keep thinking about is this run for more subscription a geographical play? When we say an Amazon does a do you want a partner, but also will do like a Dupaiya or a Panchayat. Really, who's really watching Panchayat? Does Panchayat give you more tier 2, tier 3 subscription? I'm not too sure that's the case. No,
that's what they're hoping for it to do. Because TVF has done that. I think Netflix also did that with the TVF shows that they
Factory and all that.
Yeah. So they're also trying.
So, I mean, Arjun, obviously you come from a very strong regional background in terms of Marathi. Where are we in terms of, these, I suppose, more technologically advanced platforms like the streamers and things like that? How are they really using that regional content to push that increase in subscribers?
So one is acquisition of movies. So Amazon does a very good job with this PVD model. Sony Live acquires a lot of movies, although they don't make a lot of South Indian shows. But I think what Netflix is doing is it's really buying out all the big ticket movies in the regional space with language options. What they all also say is now, because they have this 8 years of data with them, they've understood what they need to put their money into. So earlier they were trying a lot of things out. So they do have that. So Netflix has very less Marathi audience. They have very limited Punjabi audience. So they've now figured that out. Which is why they're now, you'll know where to go to if you have certain things.
So both of you have been in the industry now for a good while. given the changes, this is an industry where technology obviously changes very, very quickly, and given that sort of advent, in your, since the time that you sort of joined and until now, how have you changed the way that you've used technology?
The one interesting trend is back in the day when you had to shoot any ad film or even any sort of content for any brand, it used to be a little bit of a hectic affair, I think our crews have definitely become so much more nimble. Camera gears become so much more sort of handy. You'd find even today when we make sort of ad films for some brands who don't probably have the muscle to put in the multiple lakhs into production, we're still able to come out with competitive quality if done right. And I think that's virtue of technology. To micro it really, oftentimes we're telling our video teams to choose shooting on the phone, because it just makes for more sort of palatable content. The quality isn't compromised. In fact, it's done better. Meta keeps telling you to shoot more raw. It sort of pushes better. So I think technology has enabled a certain sort of individuality to the way you can make content. It doesn't necessarily still take a village to put good content out, no?
We used to go next door when we were students with our film reels, with our negative reels, get them made into positives, then put them on tape, then edit it on FCP, then put it back on tape, and then put it back on
telecine. There used to be a telecine machine.
Something called a reverse telecine.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
So
in the days in India, you used to shoot on digital, and still that used to be exhibited on film.
Wow.
Yeah. All that wonderful stuff. But in your sort of work, how have you incorporated more sort of technology into your workflow?
Especially in the non-fiction space, has become very handy. So even earlier documentary crews, there used to either be that one person with a camera going out and shooting, but the more extensive units used to also be extensive. But now you can actually shoot with a 10 people, 8 people crew. And cameras are far more handy even for feature length films.
Right.
So when you want to show a blast,
of course.
Safety, security is far better, even in terms of technology. So the braces, the harnesses, you have them, that phase came and now you have them very well done. You also have, I think, a good post system in place now. You also have pre-systems. People have started writing on Final Draft.
Right.
So when we graduated, people have started writing.
Correct.
Now people have started writing on Final Draft. So there has been technology, and also I think people have started embracing it a lot more.
Which I suppose brings me very much on to, I suppose, the topic of the day, the topic of the month, the topic of the year, the thing that everybody's talking about, which is obviously AI. And particularly in the creative sector, particularly in the entertainment space. How do you both view AI? And in your little parts of sort of the industry?
For me as a copywriter, essentially in advertising, oftentimes in advertising we think of AI and the entire sort of films fully made on AI. But I also truly deeply believe that the magic in what Javed Akhtar says is beautifully, right? I love artificial intelligence if my comparison is with human stupidity. But for me it's more, I think in an Indian context, isko laga dala to life jhinga lala is just such a weird mix of human insight and sound and phonetics, and while I think an AI sort of tool is capable of giving you stuff like that today, I think the sort of wrapping that you can do to it as a creative professional is paramount. So oftentimes we found ourselves to be able to sort of train our bots, for brand tone and language, and that part of the job is done. And to be told, a social media calendar of 30 days can come out of your ChatGPT today. But I do think that the magic in advertising still rests with having that observation, having a little bit of utility of taking maybe data and insights that you've got really quick access to, but finding your sort of creative lead. But in Witness, I think we have, as our agency as well, definitely stop paying one kind of vendor, for example, and one of the many is voiceover artists. We're able to, if any of us has just a fair amount of enunciation, we get it done internally, and then stuff like 11 Labs can give you so many vocal qualities, accents, all of that. And so we found ourselves sort of cutting budgets on that front. But as a creative profession in the place I operate in, I think as a copywriter, it's been a great friend for sure.
When computers came up,
Yeah.
we all thought that they're going to take over the world. A great example is Excel. Microsoft Excel did not take over accounting.
Sure.
Tally did not take over accountants. Having said that, digitization of banks did take the jobs of certain people. So that photo studios went out of fashion. We used to always go with our role, and there are certain things that will change. But if we identify this as a tool, like how you said, an assistant, and not as a companion, or as a substitute for creative people, I think that's where we need to firstly identify that at large. It's a creative field. So the idea needs to come from the human being.
Right.
If Adobe Premiere Pro is going to allow you to create bridge shots, you still need to take the main shots.
Right.
Yeah.
You still need to have those in place, which have to be thought out by human beings. So you still need a director, you still need a DOP, you still need an actor. It can do the things that might be tedious for you to save time and money.
Two sort of questions. I mean, question number one, what are your memories of using the technology that we have here during your time at Whistling Woods? And more so, I think, how has that training, that sort of access to that technology, how has that helped shape your career? How has that helped you in your career?
We got to use the digital camera right from the first batch. And so we had access to technology much before the industry did. I think right from our floor, the shooting floor, which has the lighting, the studio. I think right from there is where technology started for us. We got to use multicam setups much before, much before we got to use them in a professional capacity. So I think when we moved out into the industry, a lot of this was already, the orientation towards this, the access towards this, the understanding towards this was already there. So it helped us jump into projects easier. I've seen the 3D camera come up. Now I'm seeing emerging labs come up. So I'm seeing a lot of things now with other students, but purely when I was a student, the transition from film to digital was happening.
Absolutely.
So I think that was that moment of time in cinema all around the world. We got to experience it by touching all these things in person and in using them. So
Mine's a little more different because I was in a sort of PGD MBA sort of course, so it was more business led. But I remember being really fascinated with our sound studios. So early on, we had that one radio assignment, and the first one we of course recorded in our homes and stuff. And the minute faculty used to find potential, saying, okay, this lad, this sounds good. I remember we produced the same piece that we'd done for an assignment professionally in our studios with a sound recordist student coming in, in the mic system, the entire sort of production of it. And that then went on to become a very successful sort of show that used to trend on Spotify. Funny, the SMC podcast used to be top 2, I think, second on the fiction list on Spotify, right after Nilesh Mishra. So I'm assuming just the production quality that we were able to achieve as students may have been the reason why we were able to sort of make some moves there. We're able to see that as a young sort of agency, been in the business 2 years, we're able to present virtual production as a very competitive option, even on the budget sheet for clientele, virtue of the fact that people in our crew understand it. And I think that's virtue of these same filmmaking students having done this, in college. I mean, one of them who continues to be a very pivotal part of emerging labs is a Whistling Woods alumni. So he's been working on this since his second year, and it's beautifully transitioned from education to career, and he's probably not even realized yet. Now, which I think is the advantage of just being in the midst of technology. I think it helps for sure.
Well, thank you very much, Arjun. Thank you very much, Rohit. That was a wonderful chat, and I hope that our viewers got a lot out of it. This has been Rahul Puri for Whistling Woods in the Inner Circle.
What fascinates me the most, Jas, is how technology and creativity are complementing each other. It's not just about making a movie or a show anymore. Instead, it's a transdisciplinary collaboration with way more stakes than what existed a decade ago.
If you told someone 10 years ago that AI and VR would be tools for storytelling, they wouldn't have believed you. But now, it's table stakes. Every creative professional needs to get cozy with these tools.
And these are not just flashy stuff anymore. It's the nuts and bolts, the way scripts are analyzed, how audience data shapes storytelling, how post-production can literally bend reality. Technology is weaving itself into every corner of creativity.
Which brings us up to the million-dollar question. How do we prepare the next generation for this? How do we make sure they're not just catching up, but actually innovating?
And the answer lies in education. Not the sit in a classroom and memorize kind, the hands-on tech meets art kind of training. Institutions that teach students to think outside the box while mastering the tools that bring those ideas to life.
And we've heard about Whistling Woods International right from the start of the show. So it only makes sense to dive in deeper, to truly understand what this academic space offers.
It is an institute that is blending emerging tech with media, film, communication studies, all while keeping the creative spirit alive, training storytellers who can imagine and execute.
Which, honestly, is the dream, isn't it? Creative minds who are fluent in tech, and tech that doesn't stifle creativity, but actually supercharges it.
Couldn't have said it any better. And for anyone curious to see this in action, we're about to take a peek at how this institute is shaping the innovators of tomorrow.
Committed to excellence. Destined for greatness. Strengthened by passion. Unified by vision. We're dreamers who dare. Leaders who foster change. Artists who challenge reality. Believers who take action. We don't wait for luck. We bend it to make our own destiny. We go the extra mile because the world's big enough to fit our dream, to lose and find ourselves in.
We are not just dreamers, we are doers.
Wide-ranging courses, hands-on projects, and students just buzzing with ideas. It's the kind of environment that makes you just want to purely exist amongst the hustle and bustle.
And to go even deeper, we sent Marvi, a student correspondent, on a campus walkthrough to capture the day-to-day life of these students and their courses.
Hi, I'm Marvi and welcome to today's episode of Quick. We're here at the sprawling campus of Whistling Woods International at the heart of Film City, Mumbai. And we're here to figure out what really goes on in each department at Whistling Woods. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey.
Right now, these are labs. That's a 2D lab. That's a 3D lab. Another bunch of silent workers. This is where I work. So we're working on a project together. That's my work. That's my team. So this is my Blender file. Here we try to model things, and for me, I've been using it to kind of assign different materials to different body parts.
Thank you so much. Good luck with everything. Let's go. Oh, hey, quick, stop. Where are you headed?
The music studio.
Oh, do you mind if I tag along?
Sure.
Let's go.
So this is our piano room. These are our music labs. This is where we write our songs. And these are the studios. This is where we record our stuff.
Oh, hey, what are you working on right now?
I'm working on my new song right now. As a student of music production in our final year, we're supposed to come out with an entire composition.
Oh, that sounds cool, man. Good luck. I'll leave you guys to it. Thank you so much for showing me around. Bye-bye. All right, let's head to the main campus to terrorize some more people. Let's see where these stairs take us. Hey, you. Quick, 3 favorite spots on campus.
Okay, so this is the calm corner, and I think it's especially useful because you aren't allowed to take devices inside. Okay, so I'll take you to the next one. Okay. Okay, wait. So those are the stairs, and I love the stairs. You can just sit there whenever you want. It's amazing. Okay, so this is my third most favorite place on campus, and that is Janta. So you have chocolates, you have See you.
I'll leave you with that terrible pun. All right, let's see who else we can victimize. You, what classes are you heading to right now?
I don't have any classes right now. I'm just heading to the auditorium for a rehearsal.
Do you mind if I tag along?
This is where we rehearse plays and we hold up. This place feels like my second home. Like this is where I always am at.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Let's see who else can we find? Hey, you. What department are you in?
I'm in fashion.
Can I do one of your classes?
Yeah, sure. Follow me.
Alright, let's go.
This room is our stitching lab. We are currently preparing for our Bombay Times Fashion Week, and I can't wait to see our garments come to life on the runway.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. See you. Good luck. Who else can we find? Hey, what are you doing?
Hi there, I'm working on my environmental perception project.
And what department are you from?
I'm from Visual Communication Department and I'm currently working on my environmental perception work, where we go and study people, their culture, their artwork and make some notes and a bit of sketching here and there.
That's so cool, man. Thank you so much for your time. See you. Good luck.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, I'm actually interviewing people around campus. What department are you in?
That's so cool. I'm from filmmaking. I'm actually specializing in editing. Actually, I was heading towards the editing room. You want to see?
Oh, yes, please. Come on, take me with you.
Let me tell you something about editing. So editing is the most coolest thing around here. And you know what they say? Editing is the second time making a movie. So it has to be perfect. Ta-da! Wow. This is where the magic happens. This is where the creators create. That's it.
That's so cool, man. Thank you so much for your time. This place looks amazing. Good luck with everything. Thank you. All right, let's find one more person before we wrap this up. Hey, man, where you headed?
Oh, my game design lab.
Do you mind if I tag along? Sure. Let's go.
So, this is our game design lab. This is the game project we're working on currently right now. So our game's name is Black Flag Pesto. Dependent a cooking game where you need to also manage combats while cooking the food.
Good luck. I think you are stressed enough as it is. I will leave you to it. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck with everything. Bye-bye. Wow, animation, music, game design, acting, fashion, and this is just scratching the surface at what it's like to be at Whistling Woods International. Until next time, Marvi signing off. Thank you.
Honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. Seeing the raw day in the life stuff is like peeking behind the magic curtain.
And it really shows how learning by doing works. It's not just theory, it's concept, tech and execution all rolled into one. Now, let's talk to some of these students to get their take on how this blend of creativity and technology is shaping their future.
Today's edition of Our Take gives us a front row seat to hear from the storytellers, innovators and visionaries of tomorrow.
We live in a time where technology is no longer just a tool. It's becoming a collaborator, sometimes even a competitor in creative industries. From AI-generated music to virtual actors, from fashion shows in the metaverse to films being made entirely on digital sets, the world is shifting rapidly. But the question is this: is technology empowering us as creatives, or is it overwhelming us? And that is what we're here to unpack together.
There was a time when the public opinion was extremely scared about the fact about how AI was threatening designers as a profession, because they were like, there is no longer going to be a scope or a job per se because AI is going to take over every single thing. As students in this course, and as you are also learning about technology and adapting with it, and future industry professionals, what are your thoughts on this maybe myth or this genuine threat?
So thank you so much for that question, because it had to be addressed from the professional side, like point of view. So I just feel that designers can never be obsolete. They can never go out of date and they can never be threatened. There are two sides of each coin. One side is that there are people who go to mass productions. There are people who need that human touch. And as professionals, we feel that each and everything that people do, or for example, the students that we are sitting over here, we have our own human touch to each and everything that we do. It's the same with the designers designing the clothes. They have their touch, they have their own, personality into it. So AI can never take it. AI is never a threat, I would say. It is an opportunity to be taken in a very right way.
Yeah, I totally agree with her. See, there has always been a threat that AI might take our jobs. But spending 3 years in this field, I've realized that a design process has the first step of empathizing with the audience, empathizing with the user. And that AI cannot do at any time. You need a process, you need continuous feedbacks, iterations that AI will not provide you. It will give you a very generic solutions. It will not give you that human touch that she has mentioned. And AI is more or less just a tool to help us in our day-to-day routines and in our day-to-day challenges. I don't think it would pose any kind of threats, because at the end you have to deal at a very basic human level with the another person, because whoever is on the other side of the road, it's always the human. So you have to empathize with them. You have to understand their problems. You have to put yourself in their shoes. You have to walk a mile in their shoes. So AI will never be able to achieve that.
But I do feel AI has also created a lot of new opportunities, especially when it comes to creating and curating media per se. So, Jason, coming back to you, what new opportunities do you see as media managers or strategists that can help shape this industry?
All right, so that's a bit paradoxical at the nature right now, because on one hand we have data, and I might get plastered from both sides because of this, because of sitting in the middle of design students. But so we have data over here on one side, which is so helpful for us, which is telling us exactly the points where people are skipping a show which they do not like, maybe even avoiding a show which they don't like, versus also where they're absolutely enjoying a show to the point where they're binging it. So to us, it's become so straightforward. Like, say for example, one day Netflix suddenly decides people like Kevin Spacey, people like David Fincher, and people like political thrillers, they made House of Cards. Yeah, something as successful as House of Cards, also if it's based off purely data, what is successful. But then I said it's paradoxical in nature, because we get comfortable with it. Since it is so easy to just look at data and say, ki, haan, public ko ye pasand hai, let's just make this. We don't stop thinking anymore. I think there's a Toy Story 5, there might be a Toy Story 6. So I feel like the human touch that you talk about here, so that you don't plaster, that's where it's going to come in. You guys are going to think of something innovative. And businessmen like us, I'm going to say, but like businessmen, like hopefully someone who I may be, will see the importance of this as well for the viewers over AI and technology at all times. Even though AI and technology does help simplify and automate processes somewhere.
Now, that point being said, it does also, because of this data point that we're talking about, you also see the kind of content that you're seeing, the kind of films or the kind of shows that you're seeing are following a sort of formulaic structure. Because people have said, okay, data says X, Y, Z, so let's try this again. And we can see that in the Bollywood industry, we can see that in the Hollywood industry, we can see that on OTT platforms, we can see that on social media with trends freaking you out and making you panic and be like, if I have to go viral, I have to do this. Do you feel like that kind of pressure is affecting creativity, or do you think there is still some sort of benefit in all of this data? And I want to ask this to all of you all individually. So let's begin with you, Shubha.
So there is a certain genre of games, Battle Royale, which was a very trending topic. So people did try to sway away from the normal story mode indie games and everything, and they all started competing to make the best battle royale game out there. But I feel like it does kill the creativity of people. If you see half the BR games, they're all somewhat of a copy of each other.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Even I agree with Shubham on this one, that basically what's happening right now
is there are two sort of trends going on. One is that sells you the nostalgia bias, which is basically bring franchises from your childhood again to you so that people will go watch it. Like there is Inside Out came again, then there was Shrek 5 coming up. Like he said, Toy Story 5 is coming out. So they're trying to be like a comeback, but then what they're trying to sell is the nostalgia bias, that there is a certain audience that has grown up enough to go purchase a ticket and go watch that movie because they just want to feel what they felt as a child again. And apart from that, there is also a lot of FOMO, right? Because everyone's doing one thing, everyone's trying to create this one trend, everyone's trying to create the same type of cinema or same type of clothing, same type of lifestyle that they're trying to sell. So in that way, what happens is if you're an individual who kind of stands out from this crowd, you start feeling like being irrelevant right now, or I'm missing out on something that everyone's clearly enjoying. So yeah, but this data thing, it's kind of replicating itself too much to a point where creatives are coming, like their ideas can get rejected just because the public does not want to see it.
Music as a field is pretty different, I'd say. Even in the audience and the creators, there's like a clear differentiation. So in the audience, there's the learned sector, and there's the ones who just follow along with whatever is coming in as a trend.
Okay.
And in the creators, there's again like the cream who start off the trends, who introduce new sounds, and there are the ones who follow in and try to buy the same sound. And like with the developing tech that's coming in, with AI being introduced, I feel a lot of my friends, mentors, these people have been developing, softwares, which is kind of misleading AI into like a whole different path, so that human ingenuity still continue.
I like that.
So AI is basically is just trying to get every single thing from everybody and trying to formulate something which is apparently originally AI. But human ingenuity can't be replaced in any form or any factor, how much ever you try.
If you take the entertainment industry as a whole, you would see that the perception of entertainment has changed a lot over the decades. First, we had ads running for 30 seconds, we had jingles, we had unknown faces on our advertisements on our TVs, where we just empathize with them, where we made them very familiar to our families, and ads became a part of our lives. But now we have ads that just run for 3 seconds or 5 seconds. But still we are able to sell products through those ads. But there is no connection anymore, I would say. Entertainment at a time was about aspirational point of view. I aspire something in my life and I want to see that on a big screen. Something which is a motto for Dharma Productions, I would say. But if you take Amir Khan Productions or any kind of new production that are coming right now, they are more into relatability. But there are still some kind of different brands that want to engage with a newer audience. For example, if you take Vico is such an age-old brand. My grandmother uses it, my father used it. And now they are trying to engage with the new audience with hiring Alia Bhatt as a brand ambassador. So I mean, with technology, you get a lot of things, you get a lot of data about different things, but it comes down to, is it really helping the audience or is it overwhelming them with a lot of things?
Very true. I mean, it is important to remember at the end of the day who your audience is instead of just running behind the numbers, because if you have that crowd, word of mouth is still a concept. Everything doesn't have to be forwards and shares. You still have genuine conversations and word of mouth with each other as well.
So if we take it on a very basic note, the westernization culture we have right now in the eastern countries, we talk about how they are very indigenous about their culture, they are very authentic. We talk about Ralph Lauren, we talk about Vogue, we talk about all these people, but when we ask the layman audience about Ritu Kumar or we talk about Masaba, they don't know about them because they are not doing something that is already being accepted by the pop culture, that is already being mass produced. They are doing something in a very niche industry, they have carved out that niche for them. But they don't get that much validation because the pop culture is actually being influenced a lot by the Western culture.
Again, like adding to that one thing, like just an example of it, that recently Prada showed Kolhapuri chappals as the original design of Prada, and it was bashed on Instagram.
Yeah.
They were like let down so bad by the Eastern people. Ki, how can you say that it's your own design? Because they literally did not give credits to Kolhapuri chappal workers or the karikars that they do. So I just feel, and it went viral. It did. Obviously, it did good for Prada as well, because there was some connection with the Prada company as a
Bad PR is good PR.
yeah, exactly. Like as fashion designers, as we are in this industry, it feels like why are we so easily copied by Western people? Why do we not have those trademarks? Like Western people have this is a Victorian era style. This is that. Why don't we have those things?
I mean, the outfits are called Scandinavian apparently. At
Exactly.
one point
Scandinavian scarves. I mean, we have been using that dupatta for ages now.
I feel like another thing that technology has done is sort of bring all of our fields together and made it a far more collaborative space. And tech is, in fact, weaving together film, it's weaving together animation, it's weaving together design, and creating these sort of collaborations that we would have not seen decades before as well. So to sum it up, technology is here to stay. Thank you to all these students for sharing their insights and pushing the boundaries of this discussion a little bit more. Let's keep questioning, experimenting, and most of all, creating.
Wow, that was an amazing conversation. You know, Josh, something the panel said really stuck with me. Do you think technology will help us or replace us?
I mean, that's the big question. Sure, AI can write scripts, cut promos, even compose songs now. But can it feel a story? Think about it. In a country like ours, where there's a confluence of so many cultures, almost everyone is multilingual, and every other month we celebrate a different festival. The stories are endless. Can it catch that quiet emotion? Or can it look at that silence and say everything?
Exactly. That's the magic, that human touch. Tech just can't replicate the familial bonds, the nostalgia, the coming together of different traditions that are just so central to the Indian experience.
I totally agree. Here, emotion is the story. Our films, our shows, they're woven with multicultural layers, all those nuances that make people see themselves on screen.
That reminds me of how recently on a documentary shoot for a project, I noticed that while we did use the latest technology, it was the vision so unique to the director's story of her dreaming of making it big in Mumbai and the people she met along the way. That remained the soul of the film.
Exactly. Whether it's a small town love story or a big sci-fi spectacle, what pulls people together is the honesty, the real people, the diverse voices, and the tiny details that make it us.
Yes, and we get to see this firsthand through all the storytellers at Whistling Woods.
Isn't that the most exciting thing about this institute? We get to learn so much from so many industry professionals, be it through workshops or masterclasses or live projects we get to be a part of.
These experiences really remind us that the human mind and one's individual perspective are what create authentic stories. Well, the future of entertainment won't just be driven by innovation, but by intention. And that's what makes India's creative journey right now so exciting and so meaningful.
That's all for today's show. We hope you enjoy this journey into the fusion of tech, creativity, and education. On behalf of our team, thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Railwani.
And I'm Varsha Anand, and this was The Industry Breakdown.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mumbai.